What happens in a meeting? You discuss ritual and cliche for 5 minutes, and then somebody says, okay. So, okay, right, so what we're here for is, and then you get out your stuff and you start discussing the briefing. And then the meeting lasts typically about an hour and a half, and then after you've discussed business, because as you go up the skills, and then somebody says, okay. Okay, so I'll get that contract to you by Tuesday, or okay, so if we can fix another meeting up for Wednesday, or okay, so would you agree that's what happens? And then there's the Columbo moment. And what I found is the best time to ask the #1 killer question is in the Columbo moment when people are disarmed, just before I go. So I used to run this advertising agency. We're pitching for Dolan & Aitchison, and they're going to spend £5 million. We're based in Leeds. The company are based in Birmingham, a good 2.5 hours away. He's got 3 Birmingham agencies pitching. He's got a London agency pitching, and us. 5 agencies, all pitching on the same day, some fancy hotel in Solihull, and I'm thinking, we're on the outside track here. Why would he actually use us rather than somebody local or somebody from London? Because it just doesn't make any sense. And I tried hard to get on this list, and we went through the brief, and I couldn't find a compelling emotional reason. Because if there's been a thread running through everyone's talks of the day, it's about the facts are given. Would you agree? It's all about the little things that make the difference. And when I tell you about the perfect business, it's always about little things. And I waited until the Columbo moment. He's called Stefan Zagata. I'm putting my bag, and I said, Stefan, just before I go, I said, can I ask you something? And when you say, can I ask you something, people always say, yeah. And then I asked him the #1 killer question. If you don't remember anything else from this whole day, just remember the #1 killer question. Here it is. You've got to go home to your significant other tomorrow night and say, what is the most important thing to you about our relationship? Then sit and listen. If you have children, say to your children, what is the most important thing to you about me being your dad? What is the most important thing to you about me being your mum? Don't do this if they can't talk back. Doesn't work at that point. And if you're frightened of asking the question, ooh, say to every single client that you have, what is the most important thing to you about the service that we provide? Every potential client at some point say in the meeting, ideally at the Columbo moment, what is the most important thing to you about... You see, I said to Stefan Zagata, Stefan, can I ask you something just before I go? Yeah, sure. I said, what is the most important thing to you about the service that the agency is going to provide? And he said, I love it when people do that. Because they're coming into the inner circle. They're going to give you a secret, aren't they? He said, can I tell you the honest truth? Now, when somebody says that, I always think, well, what have you been telling me up to now? He says, can I tell you the honest truth? I said, yeah. He said, I live in Wetherby. Ah. Wetherby being 4 miles from Leeds. I said, tell me more. He said, I'm commuting at the moment, Monday to Friday. You know, it's like 2.5 hours, can't commute every day. I said, why don't you move to Birmingham? He said, I love the job, he said, but my wife will not move from Wetherby. My eldest is just about to start big school, and my son has got his friendship group, and he plays the local football team, and he ain't moving anywhere. And to be honest, I don't want to move either, but it's a great job. So I then asked him the next killer question. I said, what's the most frustrating thing for you about the fact that your job's in Birmingham and you live in Wetherby? He said, have you ever travelled on a Sunday? I said, yeah. He said, what's it like? I said, well, you spend all Sunday thinking about it, don't you? Have you ever done that? Have you ever travelled on a Sunday? And with the best will in the world, you get up Sunday morning, you think, I'll just read the papers, and I won't. And you can't, can you? You're thinking about the journey. He said, I come home every Friday night, Phil, a bit late, and we have something to eat, perhaps a bit too much to drink, and on Saturday, I drive the kids about, and we go to ballet and Cubs and Scouts and football and all of that, and I'm changing light bulbs, and on Sunday, I'm thinking about the journey, and then I'm back again. My life disappearing. I said, what if, Stefan? What if, at the proposal, I say we insist on a Monday morning meeting at the agency to discuss the sales figures for the previous week and what we're going to do for them? That, he said, will be manna from heaven. And the others never had a chance. And he spent £5 million with us for 10 years.